I apologize for the pronunciation. Grace is a skilled product manager, training and strategy expert with years of experience in the fintech space. With a passion for creating and implementing innovative business solutions, Grace has established herself as a leader in the industry. She is also a tech educator who is passionate about technology and helping people to get started in tech. Grace has also developed and implemented training programs for the company's sales team for over 1,000 staff, ensuring that they had the necessary knowledge and skills to effectively sell the company's products. As a product training and strategy expert, Grace has a deep understanding of the financial technology industry and a unique ability to identify emerging trends and opportunities. She continues to be a driving force in the industry, helping companies to develop and launch successful products and strategies that meet the needs of customers and drive revenue. Welcome with me, Grace Nwaobilor, as she takes us through our days and our transition into tech or staying in tech as a product manager. Grace, over to you.
Thank you so much. Please let me just share my screen.
All right. And please, if we have any questions for our speaker, let's drop them in the comment section while they speak. All right, over to you, ma.
All right, thank you once again, and thank you to the organizers of this event. And I must say, the last two speakers, they literally have said everything. While listening to them, I was like, wow, what am I going to say again in this presentation? So thank you to the last two speakers. And yes, the correct pronunciation of my surname is Nwaobilor. So yes, like you rightly mentioned, I currently work as a product manager, and I don't want to take much of our time. So I'll briefly be speaking on the topic, bridging the path for women in tech. So I'd like to first start off with this introduction. So imagine a world where there is an equal amount of diversity and inclusion in terms of making change, building products, and all aspects of life. What do you think the difference would be? You can drop your answer in the comment section. For me, I feel like we're going to create magic, literally, because in our world today, we need that inclusion. And I'm very grateful that we have such platforms like this that is trying to bring to light or is trying to sensitize everyone, women in special, about the tech industry and how you can transition and do great things in the tech industry. So for me, diversity and inclusion is essential in the tech industry because it drives innovation, improve performance generally, and a diverse team is going to lead or is going to bring creative solutions and products that cater to a broader audience. So just imagine a company working on a product that deals with women. Let's take, for example, the women reproductive health, how to track your menstrual cycle, fertility rate, and all that. And that company, in how like put it, in the decision-making management team of that company, there is no woman in that company. In the product aspects, the product management, development cycle, technology aspects, and every other thing, there's no woman in that product. It's just like you're building a product without having the core users, or without, there's something we call user feedback and user survey, without having without having feedback from the actual users of that product. That is where diversity and inclusion comes into play. So you as a woman, we as women in this world today, in our society today, we need to strive to be in this kind of organization, in this kind of territory. Just like the previous speaker mentioned, it's not going to be easy, especially as a woman. You have to prove yourself 10 times more than your male counterpart. But we need to be there because diversity and inclusion is very important important and necessary. I just added this slide just to throw more light in showing why we need to be included or why we need to participate in the tech industry. So currently, as of today, or as of May 2024, we just have 26.7% of women in tech-related jobs. And that is really, really low. Like, the statistics is really, really low. When I was making my research and trying to put this in place, when I got to see the statistic, I was like, wow, we really need more women in the tech industry. And then for leadership role, we have only about 17% of CEO positions, and then about 8% in CTO position. Then we move on to software engineering, and also for women of color. Why I included women of color? Because I believe this conference, we have more of women in Nigeria, and in the larger world, they consider us women of color. So we are underrepresented in the tech industry. So it's very important. If there's anything that you will take from my session today, is you can actually be in the tech industry and you can make your own little impact. You can change that narrative in your own way. So what is the importance of women in tech, or you as a woman, or you as a mom being in tech? The first thing on my slide is fresh perspective, because like I made mention to the fact of products, the female products, aside the female products in general, I don't want to be biased, but I love to believe that women are special beings and we think differently. Some people might want to say we are emotional, but I don't think we're emotional to that extent. I just feel like, instead of just thinking about it in one way, we think about it in different ways, and we try to feel what other people feel more in-depthly. So for women, one of the importance of we being in tech is we bring in a fresh perspective. We bring in unique viewpoints that lead to more innovative solutions and products. So like I mentioned earlier on, there's this thing I like to mention when I talk to people and I talk to different varieties of people. I like to mention that, we have people that just think one way, people that are just very logical. And then we also have people that are both logical. They also apply the human side. They're also empathetic and every other thing. So imagine you bringing a combination of those people together to work on one product. Sorry, I like to use the word product because I deal mainly with products. I manage products. So imagine bringing a combination of people of those different attributes to work on a particular product. So imagine the magic that will happen. Imagine the great or awesome products that you work on or that you build. You build a product that, yes, is very resourceful, and a product that users actually need, a product that is that meets the needs of a user. Looking at it from a marketing aspect, some people will be like, they don't buy a product because they don't have other competitors in the market. They buy a product because that product talks to them, that product touches their pain points. It's just like you having, let me use this popular brands. You have Milo and Bonvita. We have some people that will always stick to Milo because they're just being sentimental about them, because they feel like it's a product that they're already used to and all that. So that is just one aspect or an illustration for that. Then the next is economic growth. Women in tech contribute to economic development and competitiveness. Now, gone are those days where they say a woman's role is just in the kitchen or in her husband's house. Women are far more beyond that. Like, we are not just created to be in one aspect, or we're not designated to be in one aspect of life. We have so much value to offer, and we are like a driving force. We make up a higher percentage of the driving force in a nation. So I believe we as women should play a major role in the different industries, aside tech, other industries that you find yourself in. And then closing the gap. Women in tech roles inspire future generations and help close the gender gap in the industry. When I started my tech journey, I was opportune to work under a female line manager, and up to date, I'm still very grateful for her, because she was like a figure I looked up to in my tech journey. She was, how I put it, she was someone that if I needed to make this how will I put it? She was just that guiding path. So what I'm trying to say here is you getting into the industry, you are making room for all that younger generation to come into the industry because how will I put it? Man made laws and laws are also changed by man. So if one person breaks that stereotype, if we come together and say, oh no, women are underrepresented in this area. We need to do more. We need to bring in more women into this area or into this industry. You're actually opening the path and you're actually serving as role models to the younger generation, and you're bridging that gap. And it's an awesome thing to do. It's something that is really wonderful to do. And then a balanced team, a gender balanced team make better decisions and create more effective products, like I mentioned earlier on before. Then the next thing here is how can you join the tech movement? How can you be a part of the tech industry? How can you transition into tech? I didn't want to like put this just only on product management because I believe other people have other areas of interest and other things that they would like to go into in the tech field. But one of the first things I like to say is tech is very, very broad. And even that career you're actually selecting in tech is also broad. Just like the previous speaker made mention of the fact that data science is broad and every other thing. The same thing, if we were to even break each career, for example, in product management, you have different types of product manager. There are different types of industries that you can work in, and so on. And also in cybersecurity, there are different types. So, but what I will always say is before you transition into tech or before you do anything, right, there's something we call research. Let me take you guys to the product aspect. Before we launch a product or before we push a product out into the market, we try as much as possible to do market research and competitive analysis, where we get to know what is going on in the market, what people are saying about the particular product, or how we can actually gain an edge in the market. So the same thing for you. Before you transition into tech, one of the first things I always advise is you need to do your research about the tech industry. You need to understand what tech is. You need to ask as much questions as possible, and you need to do your own findings. So one of the key areas or one of the key things that you can actually do is while you're researching about tech and you're researching, you can actually streamline your research to, okay, what are the high in demand careers in tech? Or what are the careers in tech that are going to be sustainable in the long run, and so on. So while you do that, then there's something they call self-assessment. You also assess yourself with your, assess yourself in terms of your current skill set. Some people will be like, I've never worked before, I've never been in any formal structure and all that. I don't think I have the skill set, but I beg to differ. I believe everybody has something that is transferable. It doesn't necessarily have to be hard skill. It can be soft skill that can be used in a different industry. So when I say soft skill, I mean skills that are they're not necessarily that you need to like learn different techniques on how to use those skills. Soft skills can be as simple as communication. You know how to communicate very well. When you talk, people want to listen and people understand you. You know, communication is two ways. It's not just about you talking, it's also about you listening effectively and listening to understand, not just to respond. And then you also have problem solving. If you're that kind of person that, oh, okay, if anybody brings this kind of problem to me, you try to look for creative ways or ways you can provide solution to that problem, then that's a transferable skill. And to be honest, communication, problem solving, analytical skills, and so on, these are one of the top most sought after skills in the tech industry, because aside the hard skills, you also need soft skills to balance it out. Because if you don't have soft skills, it's going to be difficult for you in the industry because you're going to be dealing with different teams. Take, for example, if you're a product manager, you're going to be working across different, there's this word we like to use, cross functional teams. You're going to be collaborating with the design team, the technical team, the sales team, your stakeholders, and so on. So if you don't know how to collaborate, you don't know how to build relationship, you don't know how to communicate effectively, it's going to be like you're talking technical jargons. You're telling them this, a different thing is happening. So back to the research. So once you've done your research and you've done your self-assessment to see the kind of skills that you have and how you can transfer it to the tech industry, then you can actually map it to the different careers and one that actually pique your interest. That is where you have your find your niche. So I also like to state this out here that in tech, we have the coding aspect and the non-coding aspect. So you can choose to delve into the coding career aspect of tech, or you can choose to delve into the non-coding career aspect of tech. Currently, I am in the non-coding career aspect of tech. So you can either be a software engineer, a data scientist in the coding aspect, and so on, or you can actually be a product manager, project manager, UI, UX designer, technical writer, and so on. But the main thing is you need to first of all do the basics, the foundation. And then the next is embrace learning. It's very important. And I would like to say that we are in an era whereby everything is made available on the internet. Literally, you can learn anything on the internet. And just like the previous speaker said, try as much as possible to utilize everything, even AIs and so on. Because years back, we didn't even have this high sort of AI, whereby you can actually just use what's the common AI now that everybody uses, ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, Meta AI. You can simply just type anything and it helps you out and so on. So try as much as possible to leverage these resources that you have right now. You can either, if you're someone that loves to learn, if you're a self-learner, you can actually visit the University of YouTube to learn, or if you're someone that believes more in practical and structured classes, like someone like me, I believe more in practical and structured class because I feel that's the way for me to learn. Because after learning the theoretical aspect, I like to practice what I've learned. So you can actually explore platforms like Coursera, Alison, EDX, and so on. And the good thing about Coursera and Alison and some of those platforms is they put into consideration the fact that not everybody can be financially buoyant to pay for most of the courses they have on their platform. So for Coursera, you can actually apply for financial aid to learn for free or at a subsidized rate. And then Alison, they have a couple of free courses and all that. And also in the Nigeria market, we have great tech, what's it called? We have great tech education centers that are doing great things and also offer learnings at a subsidized fee. And very important is there's this popular quote that was trending, I think some time ago this year, like it's used in pidgin language, show workings, right? So while you're learning, it's best that you put out what you're learning. You never can tell someone is watching, someone is actually watching, and you can actually get your first gig by what you put out, right? Most times I tell people while you're transitioning, it's not enough for you to say transitioning, I got the certificate. Most recruiters or most employers would always want to know what you can do beyond the certificates that you've gotten on, beyond the certificates that you have. And then very important, you have to network, right? The tech ecosystem is a system that thrives more on collaboration. It's more or less like you get offers just basically because someone said something about you, someone just shared your portfolio, or someone said, oh, you worked on this app and this product and it's great and all that, or because you just mentioned it to someone randomly. So try as much as possible to network, join tech communities, and try as much as possible to volunteer. I think when my early stage of my tech career, I did a lot of volunteering. I had to take that off my LinkedIn at some point of my resume. I did a lot of volunteer before I even got my first real role as a product manager. I did a lot of volunteer. So you can actually start from there, and it's very important. And then focus on your strengths. I made a post some times ago on one of my social media platforms that tech is not magic, right? Nothing good comes like it doesn't come with a swipe of your fingers. you have to put in the work, you have to be consistent to a fault. So what I'll try to say is most people have this mindset, there's this kind of myth that is going around about the tech industry that, oh, it's a quick money-making scheme. Yes, you can make a lot of money in the tech industry, but it takes time and consistency. You don't expect, it's just like you seeing someone that has been in the industry for 15 years, 20 years, and you a newbie, you don't expect to be having the same earning power as someone that has been in the industry for so long, or someone that has started for so long. So what I'm trying to say is it takes time. Focus on your strengths. Take it one step at a time, and don't be afraid to start small. Like I mentioned earlier, start small. Do the foundational things first, and then try as much as possible to work your way through to the top. And then the next is importance of tech education. Why is tech education important? It's more than just learning how to use gadgets. There's this very funny thing. Even till date, when I tell my mom I work as a product manager, or I tell some of my relatives that I work in the tech field, the idea they have is of me working with of me working somewhere like in computer village and working on gadgets and trying to repair this and all that. And very funny, one day one of my relatives had the goodness to ask me the question, like, she called me my Igbo name. She was like, Ihoma, when did you learn how to start repairing laptop? Every time you say tech, what is it? I had to sit her down to explain to her what it is, right? Yes, that is another aspect. Maybe that is the hardware aspect of tech, but tech is beyond that. It's beyond knowing how to use gadgets and all that. It's about developing your skills that employers are looking for. It's about using technology to create solutions, to real world and to real life issues, to real life case scenarios. And it empowers you to adapt to change. And you all will agree with me that our times are changing. We are in a digital era. Everything is going at a fast pace. And we as women, we need to follow the changing times. We need to work in line with the way times are changing, the way things are going. So we also need to be a part of this ecosystem. We also need to try as much as possible to adapt to this change and try and innovate our future for the best, or for the better part of it. So yes, okay, yeah, I think this is the final slide I have. I'm trying to stick to the time, so in case there are questions, I can take that down. So the next thing is empowering your minds. Now, the reason why I added this slide, and gratefully the previous speaker already touched this, so I'm not going to speak so much on it. So the reason why I added this slide is, like I mentioned, it's not going to be like we are painting it very rosy, it's easy to transition and every other and all that, especially if you don't have a background, or if there are so many constraints like family, work-life balance, and so on. So what I'm trying to say here is there will be challenges in your journey, in your transition journey. But one of the things I like to mention is one of the key challenge is overcoming the setback of yourself. Well, what I mean by setback of yourself, aside the normal constraints and the normal challenges that you might experience, one major setback is yourself. If you have that mindset that I can't do this, or it is too difficult, already your mindset is limiting you. And even if you want to do it, what this popular verse in the Bible says, the spirit is willing or the flesh is weak. Please, sorry if I got that wrong, but something like that. So if you have that kind of mindset already, it's going to deter your transition journey, or it's going to deter you from entering into the tech industry. Because to be honest, right, let me use myself as a senior, as an example. To be honest, I did a lot of things before settling into product management. And now currently I'm also trying to add UI UX design to my product stack, just to gain more leverage in the product space. So using my UI UX design journey, there was a time I spent close to, I'm not kidding, close to 8 hours because I was trying to learn how to make, okay, I'm currently enrolled in a program, and we have these videos where we learn how to use this design tools and make interactive designs. So there was this particular button I was trying to do, and I was trying to like get the exact effect, the exact scale, the exact number, and everything that the teacher used in doing hers. It took me a lot of time. At some point, I was frustrated. This is because I already have experience so far, but I was frustrated. I had to like close the laptop and say, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this anymore. But I had to just sit myself down and like ask myself, why did I even want to do this in the first place? Why do I want to get into it in the first place? So what I'm trying to say is you face so many challenges, but try as much as possible to overcome that setback of yourself. And to be honest, I have to just put it out here. The tech industry is one industry that is what's the word? Continuous learning. Learning never stops because every day, every time, new things are being pushed out, whether in whatsoever field you're in, whether you are in this, whether you're in the cybersecurity phase or industry or the products industry, new things are being pushed out, new ideas, new ways of doing things and all that. So it's something that you have to continue learning. So if you don't have that at the back of your mind while starting, you might face difficulty or challenges as you go on. So that is one thing that I just wanted out there. And then the future in tech. So the future is undeniably tech driven. Like I mentioned already, we're in a digital area that do a lot of digital stuff that are driven by technology. So by investing in tech education, you're not just learning skills, you are investing in your future, and you can become a leader and innovator in this dynamic field, shaping the world of tomorrow. So thank you all so much for listening to me. At this point, I'm going to end my presentation here. And if we have any questions, please feel free to ask. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Grace. Please, a round of applause for our speaker. Let's appreciate her. There's a question here in the comment section. The question is, what is the difference between project manager, product manager, product owner, and product designer?
Wow. Okay. Where should I start from? Thank you for that question. So most times these definitions are always used, or these roles are always used interchangeably. Most times people call product managers, project managers, and all that. So let me start with project managers. So project managers are what's the word? Are people that are just in charge of managing a project in terms of the timelines, in terms of budgets. So let me put it in simpler forms. Project managers project managers manage a project within a specific timeline and a specific budget range. So they are just concerned about you delivering a project with the exact budget that was assigned to that project and within the exact allocated time frame. But product managers are not project managers. They are not considered, they don't think about, they are not bothered about delivering a project within a particular budget or time frame. They are more concerned about the life cycle of a product from ideation to possible decline, right? What I mean is a product manager is in charge of developing a product from start to finish. Now, let's use Instagram, right? And continuous. So Instagram will have like series of product managers working on that product. So they will be in charge of ensuring that this product works according to how we define the requirements or features, and it is pushed to the general public. And after being pushed to the general public, they also manage that product in terms of if there's bugs or anything that needs to be changed. But project managers, they're not really concerned about how you develop your project and all that. What they're concerned about is managing the budget and ensuring that you deliver the project according to the stipulated budget or time frame. I hope I've answered the difference between project managers and product managers. Then for product designers, right? Like I mentioned, product managers are in charge of a product from start to finish. While product designers are, how I put it, they are the creative minds behind the product. They design what your product managers present to them, right? Your product manager has an idea of a product. She has the what's it called? She has the user flow, user stories, everything mapped out, the requirements document and everything. Your product designers, based on what the product manager has given to her, based on requirements of the organization, they try to create a solution that suits that requirement. So your app interface, your app interface, your Instagram interface, your WhatsApp interface, and everything, these were designed by product designers that were now later developed by developers. I hope I'm not confusing you guys here. So anything that has to do with the interface and everything, it's done by the product designers. For product owners, it's just a terminology in product management, right? So in product management, we have product owners, scrum masters, product managers, and every other thing. So product owners are just like an aspect of product management, right? So basically, it's just how like it is a subcategory under product management. So you can actually classify them as scrum masters, and my time is up. So they also oversee the product development. Let's just put it at that. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Grace Nwaobilor. We appreciate your time, the time you leave to attend to us. Thank you so much. And I'm very sure that the participant has gained a lot from what you've shared about being a woman in tech, the